So on the Dallas Stars, Jim Nill announced Jim Montgomery's dismissal hours after discovering, quote, a material act of unprofessionalism. According to multiple sources, Dallas fired Montgomery for cause, terminating the final 2.5 years of his contract. Bracket, what remains to be seen is if Montgomery mounts a legal challenge. Close bracket. Calgary needed more than 3 days to do a proper investigation, and Peters wasn't officially fired. Mark Crawford's been on leave for more than a week. The Stars situation was different because the offending behavior happened on their watch, not in a previous locale. They were certain of their corroboration and or documentation, and they were certain of it quick. Montgomery's coaching acumen was never in question. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, because I have a theory on this. I'm not sure I want to expound on the theory, but I do have a theory.
I don't think you should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dallas went to a second-round Game 7 double overtime against the eventual Stanley Cup champions St. Louis Blues, righted itself into a legit contender after an awful 1-7-1 start this year. If there was a concern, it was how much fun Montgomery liked to have away from the rink. You have to be careful walking that line. That's what Elliot Friedman said. And that backs my theory, which I will not expound upon here because I don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah, I think it'd be wrong of us to just play the guessing game.
Yeah.
Although everybody is. Eventually this is coming out, right? Everybody's guessing.
I'll just say it. Like, there's a lot of people who I think fancy themselves heroes who are acting a little bit villainous through this whole situation. Oh, well, because they didn't tell us, let's just guess. And I think he did this.
One thing,
everybody's got a theory.
In the story, Elliot says that they didn't come out with it because they're protecting the person who told the story.
Oh,
I didn't even think
the
of
person
that.
who's the victim. Because they know once the story comes out, that person, they're going to know
you'll know
what
exactly who it
happened.
is.
So you're protecting that person's identity.
You got to respect that.
Life.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's got a very young family. Like, he's got kids that got to go to school, and we all know kids are very understanding and won't rip on anything that has to do with your family, you know? Listen, when we're meant to know, I guess we'll know. In the meantime, he was fired, and it was for an obvious reason. Like, why wouldn't you say? Well, take a literal millisecond to answer that question yourself.
No, tweet first.
That's very funny.
What? Tweet first.
You know what's important? Being right by guessing.
Several tens of likes.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's important.
Yes. And you can trade that in. You can trade that in
You
for...
get internet bucks for that. Didn't you guys
Should
know
we
that?
make a t-shirt that says, no, tweet first?
with Adam's deadpan face. No, tweet first. That's really good. No, like...
the last month has shocked me.
Yeah. Oh, I mean...
Shocked me on Twitter. Shocked me.
Why wouldn't Brad Treliving... Well, why wouldn't Brad Treliving?
Yeah. Huh? Well, hang on just a minute. Sometimes you got to do due diligence.
Let's
I know
rack it around.
Crazy.
Here's the thing. You person don't have any responsibility to the Calgary Flames organization.
Nope.
But when you do, the reason you get those positions of responsibility is to avoid being sued by somebody. You must figure out what happened. And that's what they were doing. How do we not get sued and figure out what the hell happened?
What if I have a Twitter account and I want something done? And I decide to just yell it into the matrix of the earth.
Who are the most hard done by people on the planet?
Twitter users.
People on Twitter who live with the burden that no one is as smart as them. And my heart goes out to them, and I want to start a GoFundMe for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Twitter would be the place to start it.
what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Like, no, it just bothered me. Like, there's very obviously reasons, and like, I'm not playing coy. I don't know the reason.
And let's be honest. There's because it didn't involve somebody from the organization. They said, right?
Yeah, I didn't like that. You know, they were friggin' playing crew. Did he have a hat and you flick them all down? And was it a member of the organization? Flick, flick, flick.
Right.
I didn't like that.
That's so funny.
They
What game is
were
that?
playing Clue. Clue.
Wasn't
Clue?
it?
No,
That's
Clue
Clue.
is like
No, Guess Who?
Guess Who?
Oh, yes,
Clue is like
Guess
Mr.
Who.
Green Jeans in the room with the pipe. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Is it water on the knee?
Yes.
Is it sexual harassment?
Oh, gosh.
No, well,
Well, they said it was not sexual harassment. It was
Right.
not physical abuse.
So we're knocking down all the faces.
if there was something to be mocked, it was them going, all right, I can't say what, but it wasn't
Was it-
blank, blank, and blank. Like,
Was it a racist remark? Was it sexual harassment?
yeah.
What? Oh,
They
gosh.
might as well have come out and gone, listen, it wasn't like a Babcock thing, it wasn't a Peters thing. No.
But we
would've-
still had the firearm.
Yeah, so if there was something to be mocked, it was that. But like then guessing,
Yeah.
then taking
Yeah, just don't.
No.
And you're right. And I'm glad you guys, I do have a theory, but I'm not going to get into it. But there's only, you think about what, as you said, Clue, right?
Yeah.
Or not Clue.
Guess Who.
Guess Who.
I screwed it up.
When you look at the situation, there's only so many things it could have been. You got to think about.
I always say that, and it's always something wacky. You know what? He was moonlighting as a ringmaster in a circus.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not focused on winning the cup. That's
It's
horseshit.
strictly in his contract. You're not allowed to work for the circus while head coach of the Dallas Stars.
Damn.
It's a really strange provision, but it's in there, and he violated it, so he's gone.
This is interesting. One thing we can mock openly is the
Steve.
quote of the year.
Oh, God.
And this needs to be on a T-shirt. Have you heard this, Jesse?
No,
It has to be.
I don't know where we're going with this.
Oh,
It's really
Jesse,
good.
this is
Yeah.
the best quote of all time. It's unfortunate that it happened in the situation that it did, but that does not make it not funny.
It was-
in fact,
Okay.
it makes it no.
It was a when it rains, it pours
Yeah.
situation.
Is this staying with Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim Nill
Nill.
during the press conference said this. Unfortunately, and this is deep, sometimes in life, the hardest decisions are the toughest. And this is one of them.
What?
Unfortunately, sometimes in life,
Hardest
the
decision.
hardest decisions are the toughest.
toughest.
And this is one of them.
That could have been said at a staff meeting at Dunder Mifflin.
Don't
God.
say anything ever.
Just, God, that sucks.
Are you telling me that hard decisions are tough, Jim? It's crazy.
And this is one of them.
I know. Listen, it's so tough because he's in a really tough position. This is the coach he hired.
Can you imagine the week he had?
Oh.
Jim? Yes? Who's this? It's Jim. Listen, Jim, I think I have to fire Jim. What? Why do you got to fire Jim, Jim? Sorry, there's just so many Jims involved.
It's a lot of Jims. I do feel because that's a tough spotlight to be in. So of course you're going to misspeak a little bit.
This is one of them.
But it is one of the most generically funny quotes I've ever read in my life.
Sometimes
And I
in life-
don't care. I think it's funny.
You got to give something to get something.
Yeah, get something. Get something.
It's a hockey man.
But yeah, don't friggin' try to play. Like, what are you going to do if you're right? Aha!
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if you're right, then you guessed it. And if you're
You're like,
wrong, then you
okay.
didn't guess it.
Right.
I guessed it based on nothing. Aha!